Hello, welcome to tonight's film and meditation. I am David of Adventurous Therapies, and tonight's film and meditation is inspired by the moon being in the astrological sign of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is quite an idealistic, quite an optimistic sign. It's ruled by the planet Jupiter, which is said to be a force of creativity and expansion, but also both the planet and the sign, above all things, seek to find truth, the truth of the matter of things. And for tonight's meditation, I have written some questions that we're going to just ruminate on while we go into a nice meditative state. We'll get into that nice space, and then we'll just let our brain process these questions to reflect the inspiration of the energy tonight. So to get into a meditative state, we'll just take a little moment to arrive where we are. Get yourself comfortable, make sure that you're not responsible for anything or anybody, i.e. no driving cars, no, like if you're looking after someone, just make sure that you're in a time and a place where you can be peaceful at yourself for 15 minutes. So what I'd like you to do is take a breath in, starting with the diaphragm. So a good way to get this is push all the air out, hold it out for a few seconds, and then let the air just naturally come into your lungs. You should hopefully feel it expanding at your diaphragm here as that drops down to allow the lungs to expand. Let that fill up your chest, and then we're just going to sigh it out audibly with a nice ah. The reason we do this is because when you sigh, you're almost like tricking your body into believing that something difficult is already over. Because think about it, if you do something and it's been quite complex and you get it done with, you do a and you get that release. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do that 3 times. So pushing all the air out your lungs, hold it out for a few seconds, then naturally let it run in through the nose, filling up the diaphragm, filling up the chest. And then when you feel you've got all the breath in, breathe in more. And then, and then one more time. And then one last time, breathing in. When you've filled your lungs, breathe in more. Hold it for a second and there we are. Hopefully we're feeling nice and chill. So what you can do now is you can get comfortable physically wherever you are. If you're sitting in a chair, just allow yourself to melt into the chair a little bit more. If you're lying down, exactly the same thing. Just you can close your eyes if you wish, or just keep them softly open. But just get yourself into a nice, comfortable and relaxed state. For the next 10-15 minutes, nothing needs to be done. Give yourself this little break just to get in touch with yourself, a little bit of self-reflection. This meditation is inspired by the practice of Vipasana, which is an inspiration-led meditation technique where you mull over something in your mind, and then usually with your brain being a more relaxed alpha state, it then just finds the answers to the things that you're looking for. But in this case, we're going to answer some questions together and see what insights come up at the very end. I have them here in my trusty book. So just with your eyes closed or softly opened, give yourself permission to relax mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and just let the answers and the inspiration come to you. What outdated beliefs or assumptions am I ready to release to grow into my next version? What outdated beliefs or assumptions am I ready to release to grow into my next version? What truth have I been avoiding because it's uncomfortable to face? What truth have I been avoiding because it's uncomfortable to face? How have I been holding myself back out of fear of judgment or failure? How have I been holding myself back out of fear of judgment or failure? When have I felt most connected to my inner truth? And what was different about that time? When have I felt most connected to my inner truth? And what felt different about that time? What messages has my intuition been whispering that I have maybe ignored? What messages has my intuition been whispering that I maybe have ignored? What wisdom do I hold within me that I haven't fully trusted? What wisdom do I have within me that I haven't fully trusted? Where in my life do I feel confined, and what would freedom look like instead? Where in my life do I feel confined, and what would freedom look like instead? What's one bold or unfamiliar step I can take to expand my perspective or experience? What's one bold or unfamiliar step I can take to expand my perspective or experience? What adventure, inner or outer, am I being called to embark on? What adventure, inner or outer, am I being called to embark on? What does a life aligned with my highest truth look and feel like? What does a life aligned with my highest truth look and feel like? If I removed all limitations, what would I allow myself to dream or pursue? If I removed all limitations, what would I allow myself to dream or pursue? What is one vision I've been afraid to claim, but know in my heart is meant for me? What is one vision I've been afraid to claim, but I know in my heart it's meant for me? And all these questions that we've had so far have been rapid fire, of course, but they have touched upon the ideals and qualities of Sagittarius and of Jupiter, of releasing limited beliefs and old stories we tell ourselves, of pursuing our inner wisdom and higher guidance, to pursue the values of freedom, growth and adventure, and to create for ourselves a vision and a purpose. So the good thing is you don't have to think about all these questions all at once. Your subconscious will have listened to all of them and retained the ones it felt was most important to you. So whatever question you feel called to answer or to delve deeper into, that's the one that is right for you in this moment, at this time, at this point in your own personal adventure. So I will read all the questions out again, and whatever one catches your imagination, that is your next step of how to delve deeper into creating something aligned with the values of Sagittarius and with Jupiter. What outdated beliefs or assumptions am I ready to release to grow into my next version? What truth have I been avoiding because it's uncomfortable to face? How have I been holding myself back out of fear or judgment of failure? When have I felt most connected to my inner truth, and what was different about that time? What messages has my intuition been whispering that I haven't fully acknowledged? What wisdom do I already hold within me that I haven't fully trusted? Where in my life do I feel confined, and what would freedom look like instead? What's one bold or unfamiliar step I can take to expand my perspective or experience? What adventure, inner or outer, am I being called to embark on? What does a life aligned with my highest truth look and feel like? If I removed all limitations, what would I allow myself to dream or to pursue? And finally, what is one vision I've been afraid to claim, but I know in my heart it is meant for me? So just take a moment to allow the questions, any potential answers that have cropped up, just to assimilate into your subconscious. The wonderful thing about your subconscious is the minute it hears a question, it filters through your entire experience, the whole lived experience, filters it through and condenses it down to the answer that you feel it feels is the most appropriate for you, then feeds up to your conscious mind. So whatever arises for you in this moment is the right time. Just trust in that, trust in yourself. And if you need to watch the video again to think more on the questions, you absolutely can. Vipassana meditation is usually something carried out over several sessions to allow the brain just to wander, to get creative, to use its genius talents to find answers from a more relaxed perspective than perhaps we would allow ourselves in our busy day-to-day life. So in your own time, when you're ready, you can just begin to gently wiggle your fingers and toes. Give yourself a little movement back into the body, returning back to the space in which we're in. Just allowing yourself to return slowly, hopefully with some answers to some questions, perhaps even questions you never knew that you had to ask yourself. But take a moment just to give yourself a flex, a little stretch, open your eyes when you're ready, and thank you very much for coming along to this full moon meditation. It's a little bit different from the ones we've done before. Very David Lynch, just having someone asking questions at you and allowing your brain just to absorb and to float. If you watch this video back and watch the whole thing, you'll see me smile for no apparent reason, just because I've enjoyed doing the video. But if you have any questions about the questions, then please don't hesitate to get in contact. And you'll be able to find all the information. Give me a message, and I'd love to hear any discussion, any revelation, any insight that you got from this. Have a lovely evening, and we'll catch you on the next full moon.